Hello!
Welcome back to our channel and welcome to the start of the Disney Cruise Line
Cruise
stuff, because this isn't a vlog.
No, it's not a vlog.
Basically we got back from the Disney Cruise, not yesterday, the day before. Friday.
That's now Sunday.
Days have lost all meaning already.
Oh, we're tired, to say the least.
Yeah, and excuse the fact that you might be able to hear the washing machine on in the background, but you know, we've
Cruise wash!
Yeah, we've just come back. And as you will see in the vlogs, I spilt stuff down me quite a lot, so...
Can't take her anywhere, fancy.
Can't take me anywhere not fancy, just can't take me anywhere, full stop.
So we thought, while it's all fresh in our minds, we'll do a couple of hints and tips of what we picked up on the cruise. Spent some time making a list. Checking
it twice, gonna find out. Officially today, it's 5 months to Christmas.
No.
It's almost spooky season.
Anyway.
So,
on our last day of the cruise, we sat down for a while and went through a list of things we wish we knew before we actually got onto the ship. So we're doing this quick video now and putting this as the first video that we were putting up with our cruise series, because we want other people to sort of take these hints and know just a little bit more, especially if it's first time cruising. It was our first time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We had absolutely no idea what we were getting ourselves into. And we missed out on a few things and we're a bit unhappy, but hopefully we can help you out with a nice quick list of things.
And also, like, if we wait and only record this in like 3 weeks time when all the vlogs are done,
yeah,
we'll have forgotten about it.
We'll be forgotten about it and it'll be useless for everyone else. So we might as well do it now while the last Liverpool sailing is going on, and then the Tilbury and Southampton and Newcastle ones are still to go. So,
and if you check our Instagram, maybe by the time, because this video is going up tomorrow, so maybe on our Instagram later today there might be an announcement about another cruise.
This one's been nagging me to book another one. We are looking at a Tilbury sailing.
I enjoyed it so much. Yeah, anyway, that's another tangent.
That's another thing. So let's just crack on with this mystical list that we've got in our hands.
Yeah.
In my hands.
So in no particular order.
No particular order, this is just what came to our minds while we were on the ship, so we'll just go down the list. First one is, some events only happen once. So, for example, the Marvel characters appearing, that only happens on one particular day. There's certain shows and appearances that happen once during the entire cruise. So it's well worth spending the time at the beginning of the cruise, once you get onto the ship and see the full sort of schedule of events that are going on for your cruise. It's going through and hearting any event that you're interested in. We made the mistake of thinking, oh, we'll just check it up at a later time, not knowing that we were actually going to miss some meet and greets that we really wanted to go to. Yeah,
don't get me wrong, the stuff that we did instead was amazing.
Oh yeah.
But equally, I am a little tiny, I mean massively, bit sad that I didn't see Chip and Dale dressed as Thor and Loki.
Yeah, that was the biggest one.
Yeah. There's some things that are on like twice because they have it so that if you're on early dining or late dining.
Yeah.
But yeah, we basically, when we first got on board, we just sat down in cabanas or something and just basically gone through and starred everything that we were interested in. Because when you star something, the app then sends you through an alert to say that it's starting in like 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
So you don't have to try and remember the time and be like, oh right, I've missed that because I didn't realise the time, because it'll constantly alert you to say this is starting in X time, so that you remember. So yeah, I wish we'd done that when we first got on board, but equally we know for next time now.
Yeah, and don't take that as there's only a few events as well to go to. There is lots going on the ship, and even if you do miss on one, there's something else to do. I mean, you could fill your entire cruise just doing quizzes. Yeah. If you really wanted to, because there's one going on at all times of the day.
Quizzes, bingo and game shows.
Yeah.
You could literally spend your entire time just doing that.
Pretty much.
So the next thing, which we only found out on our last full day
to our decrement,
Although equally my liver's probably a little bit happy about it. In the Promenade Lounge there is a drinks item called Samilia's Bin, and it's right at the very, very bottom of the menu when you're flicking through it, and it's basically you ask for either a red or a white and you get either a red wine or a white wine. You don't get any choice in what the wine is. It's just basically bottles that they have open that they've not finished the bottle of, and then they're selling by the glass for $12 a glass, whatever. Is it $12 or $14? Might be 14.
It's listed as 14 on the menu, but the charge came through as 20, as 12.
Yeah, because the charge on the menu includes the VAT.
Exactly.
So it's $14. And you basically you get whatever is open, they'll pour you a glass of. Now, on the ship they do champagne tasting, they do chocolate and liquor tastings, which is paired with some expensive
red wine and limited red wines at that.
Any of the restaurants where people have asked for some specific drink, there's then those bottles are then open. So every time that we got Samilia's Bin, I got champagne for $14, and it wasn't cheap champagne. I got a Tattinger, I got a Moet, and they weren't champagne measures. They were in a red wine glass and they were half full
of the glass. It must have been about 3 champagne glasses in one, essentially.
Yeah, it was like essentially 3 measures of champagne in one glass for $14. You got a red wine, so the red wine that Andy got, I think, should have been $30 a glass.
Yeah, $30 a glass, and it was a good measure in the red wine glass. So.
I basically got half a bottle of Moet for $14, and I got a Tattinger that again was like basically half of a red wine glass. And when he came over and the server put it down, I think it was Curtis.
Yeah.
Not that we got on first name terms with a lot of servers, but when you're serving me $14 champagne, I'm gonna get to know you. Yeah. But he put it down and he was like, just so you know, there is another one in that bottle, you know, if you were going to order another Samilia's Bin. And I was like, I see you and I like you. So yeah, Promenade Lounge, Samilia's Bin.
Yeah, if you enjoy your wine, recommend you try it out, because you never know what you're going to get. But is there really a bad bottle of wine that they're serving on the ship? Probably not.
No.
And especially since the one coming out of the chocolate and liquor tasting was a John Lasseter red as well, which are very hard to get their hands on, and somehow Disney gets their hands on. I wonder how.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many alcohol tasting things going on, and the number of tickets that they're selling for that, like they use 2 bottles of red with how many people were in ours. And when you were looking, you could see that they hadn't used all of the red. So I guess that bottle would have then gone into the Samilia's Bin. But it's a really good way to get like
some cheaper alcohol on the ship.
And I kind of don't want to give that as a tip, because I kind of want to keep it for me, because the more people who know about it, the less good stuff would be in the Samilia's Bin.
Anyway, I think we spent far too much talking about wine. Let's carry on.
Samilia's Bin.
Samilia's Bin.
Take a drink every time I say Samilia's Bin.
Not turning this into a drinking game now. Anyway, another handy hint that may have picked up from many other vloggers who have done the initial cruises, but guest services on the final day can get really busy. In the morning when you're leaving the ship, a lot of people are checking the tags on the way out, and they may have to pay some excess that hasn't automatically been charged to a card, either due to it bouncing or problems or something like that. And then there'll be a massive queue at guest services, and you may be waiting an hour plus just to pay off your final bill. We recommend on your final night, you can go to the app and actually book an appointment at guest services for say 11:30 at night. Then you can go down and it's completely empty, and you can just pay off your bill and not have to worry, unless you decide to have a glass of champagne with breakfast. Or do some final shopping like Joe did.
I have a shopping problem.
Yeah. But yeah, the queues can get big, so Always try and book any guest services appointments for late at night. It's a lot quieter.
Yeah, it is very quiet. So next one, and it's something that has changed just for our cruise. I think ours was the first one for this.
Yeah.
Disney were previously saying that you would have to do a virtual queue for the pool and that you'd be given a slot to go to the pool so that they could limit numbers. For our cruise, because we were the first cruise after the UK had, well, England rather than the UK I guess, had dropped social distancing restrictions.
Freedom Day.
Yeah. Disney had dropped all of those restrictions, so you didn't have to pre-book a slot at the pool, which was awesome. It meant you could just go up whenever you wanted, but it also meant that the sun lounges around the pool got busy very quickly.
Yeah.
The kids' pool, I think, constantly had people. You could not get a sun lounger near the kids' pool.
I didn't see a quiet time any time.
No.
The only time it was quiet was the boarding day when nobody was on the ship.
Yeah. The adult pool, the adult pool seemed to like cycle a bit more with like people moving on, and people generally only seem to spend about 2 to 3 hours there, which I guess coincides with how long kids were in kids club for. That, you know, the kids club appointment was coming to an end, so they'd go and leave from the adults pool, so that cycled a bit more. But it was very much the earlier you get there, the better chance you've got of getting a sun lounger.
Yeah.
They do have rules about you're not allowed to leave like your towels out to basically like claim a spot, which is a very like stereotype thing that Brits and...
Well, the thing is, if there wasn't any of your personal belongings on a sun lounger, the cast member who was sort of patrolling the adult area would basically just take the towels off and put them in the used bin. Yeah. So it's not like...
They like knew, didn't they, of like... He was really good at like sort of like looking and being like, right, well, they're in the pool at the minute, so I know that they're...
Yeah.
Whereas they've just taken all of their belongings and gone off that way, so I know that they've gone, kind of thing. They were very much on the ball in that
they were
respect.
very attentive. I mean, there was only... Is the 2 people, 1 for each side of the pool, was it? And yeah, they were very attentive to what was actually going on.
In the adult side there was only 2. In the children's side there were loads, because there was like 4 lifeguards alone.
At least.
There's no lifeguards in the adult only section, I guess, with the assumption being that there's enough adults around that if somebody got into difficulties.
Oh, one thing as well to note, when it says it's an adult only pool and 18 only, they are very strict about that. We saw a situation where grandparents had took the little child in just to sort of have a dip in the water, and straight away one of the cast members was over and just saying, no, she can't be in here.
Yeah, there's a lot of time that we saw people with children trying to argue. Like, we heard one saying about the argument was, well, she can swim, and they were like, it's not about whether she can swim, there's no lifeguards on duty and it's over 18s only.
Exactly.
Like, just they're okay with you sort of because it's the forward lifts come up into the adult section, so they'll let you like walk through.
Yeah,
but
you can walk through, and
that's literally it. Like, you can't pull up a seat or anything in the adult only section for the obvious reason that it's adults only.
Yeah.
So speaking of forward lifts, the forward lifts come up next to the spa. So Senses Spa, it was hit and miss whether it was showing on the app for me before the cruise.
Yeah.
Because I knew that they had like the massages, but I knew that there was also like a steam room, and that never showed on the app. So to book that, you basically go to the Senses reception desk, and they had spa treatments available. They had manicures, pedicures, the massages, like every type of massage was available.
Yeah.
They still had fitness suite bookings that you could do on the day, and then the rainforest
rainforest spa rooms, which had the sort of sensory showers and the steam rooms essentially.
They never showed on the app, but they are bookable if you go to the Senses Spa. And as you will see in one of our upcoming vlogs, they are awesome. Yeah.
So I think it was the morning of boarding. They don't actually have any appointments, so if you're interested you can just roll up to the Senses Spa and they'll give you a tour around and ask you what you're interested in having and any treatments, and if you want to go in the room, and they're really helpful and guide you through, and then you can organise an appointment there, and then the availability is very good.
Yeah, it was really good on ours, but I guess that's because we were doing it literally the first day that we got on board.
Yeah.
I think by day 2 the availability would have obviously gone down once more people have found the bearings. We were we basically knew before we got on board that we wanted to do some spa treatments, so that was somewhere that we went very early to basically book.
But yeah, they're very helpful. If you can't see availability on the app, or if you're not sure of availability, just pop down. There's always somebody on the reception of Senses Spa who can just help you out and check your booking there and then. So, and also like you said, the fitness centre needs to be booked through that as well, because it is just inside the spa.
And that kind of relates as well to the other things that were on the ship. So prior to getting on board the ship, we hadn't been able to book anything else, because when we first did our check-in, or the pre-booking stuff, sorry, at 60 days out, the only thing we wanted was Paolo's. And then as it got nearer the time, we were like, kind of like the champagne, kind of like the chocolate tasting. We had kept checking the app, but 48 hours before you check in, the app essentially switches off and you can't make any changes. But people can still cancel once they get on the ship. So we found that everything, with the exception of champagne tasting, became available once we were on board the ship. So we were able to get the chocolate and liquor tasting. There was plenty of availability for everything else, and I think that might have been to do with the weather, that maybe people weren't sure what the weather was going to be like, booked all these things to do.
Booked all the experiences, essentially.
Yeah, and the thought of, well, if the weather's rubbish, we need something to do. Then the weather was great, so they just cancelled. So yeah, if you've not been able to book anything so far and you're worried, don't worry, because guest services, literally when I first got on board, I messaged guest services. You can just send a little message through the app. Messaged them and said, is there any availability? And they said no. So I asked if we could be waitlisted for the champagne tasting. I didn't bother waitlisting for anything else because we weren't as bothered by anything else. And then on day 2, I checked the app randomly and found the chocolate and liquor tasting for day 3. So, and we just booked it there and then. So champagne tasting never became available as far as we're aware, but everything else was.
So keep checking the app throughout your trip if you want any of these experiences, because they do become available, including as well the kids clubs. They ended up becoming available in the cruise as well. So if you've missed out on your 60-day bookings, it's worth keeping an eye out on a daily basis. Just first thing in the morning, just give it a check. I think the kids club is on your check-in day, isn't it, at 30 days, but yeah, kids club bookings became available, and they did have some open house sessions as well, which I know prior to sailing they've been very vocal in saying there is no open house sessions. There definitely were open house sessions. Probably due to the restrictions relaxing as well. So. Another thing to note is that the room has US plugs and also Euro plugs. If you've got devices which require quite a lot of charge, like an iPad or camera batteries or something like that, bring a Euro adapter with you rather than a US adapter. The US electrics is 110 volts and the Euro is 220 to 230 or something like that, but things charge a lot faster through the Euro plug than they do on the US plug. Also applies for sort of things like hair straighteners and stuff like that. You'll probably see that they work a bit better in the sort of higher voltage plug, but there's only one of them in the room at the desk, so be prepared to be unplugging and switching stuff around. I think it kind of proves that the Euro is better when the hairdryer that is in the desk is a Euro plug. So they're basically even saying to American guests, like, use the Euro because it's more powerful. So yeah, anything that you want to charge quickly or has a lot of power. So for example, we've got a multi-USB charger brick that we brought a Euro plug for, and then we can plug like 5 or 6 USB devices into. So we use it to charge both our phones, our watches and an iPad as well, all in one. And we didn't notice any performance issues on the Euro plug whatsoever. So just one thing to take into consideration. There are USB plugs, so the
clock radio did have USB. It had 2 USB ports on it.
Yeah.
We never actually tried them because once you've got your curtains closed and the lights are off, it is pitch black in that room.
Yeah.
With the exception of a glowing orb of the clock. So I was constantly, whenever we were in bed, I was turning the clock over because it was just too bright.
Yeah.
Like, it was just ridiculous. It was kind of like the sun was still out, like, next to my head. So I was turning that over, and so we would never have been able to charge from that because I'd have been squishing the cables and stuff. So I don't know what that's like. I think that might have been plugged into a Euro plug under the...
No, it was in a US plug.
US.
Yeah, so I think in total there was around about 6 or 7 US plugs, 1 Euro, 2 USB ports. That's about it. So be prepared for that. Don't get caught short with that.
Yeah, I definitely think her straighteners, so having used my straighteners in America and using them on the ship plugged into the Euro, they work a lot better plugged into the Euro.
Yeah.
If you do forget your adapter for the sockets, you can hire them from guest services. Now, I'll be totally honest, I don't know how much it is. I'm going to guess that it's $10 to hire it as a deposit fee.
Yeah, deposit.
That's basically what they charge in Disneyland Paris.
Yeah, it seems to be
in America. So
yeah.
I'll just assume that it's probably $10 to $20, but it is a deposit. So when you give it back, you get that money back. And
going back to the guest services comment, a lot of people were queuing guest services to return these charges as well.
Yeah, a lot. That was, I would say, 50% of the queue was people with little like food bags of charges, like just sort of like standing there waiting to give their power adapter back.
Yeah. On your check-in documentation, it mentions that your stateroom is available from 4 PM for you to go into, but that isn't actually the case. A lot of rooms open a lot earlier. For example, on deck 7 where we were staying, the rooms were available from 3 PM, and I've also seen vlogs from other people with a banner blocking off the area saying that the rooms will be available from 1:30. Now, this is totally down to housekeeping and the management and who decides what's open. For us, we went up to deck 7 to have a look around and get our bearings for where our room was, and we got talking to, I don't know if they were like a housekeeping manager or something like that. We just had a little chat with them, and in the end they just let us through the barrier and go to our rooms early.
Yeah, she was just like, you can go in, and we were like, yeah, it says at 3, and she was like, yeah, it's only half an hour.
Yeah, so we actually got into our room at around about 2:45 or something like that, around about 15 minutes earlier than what it was saying on the banner. I'm not sure if we've actually got a picture of the banner to put in.
I think you will see it in the vlog.
Yeah, so there's like just a little cord rope that goes over the entrances to the staterooms, and on it it specifies the time.
This area will open from, and then it's literally just got a time that you can put. But yeah, I think it's worth going and checking what the actual banner says, because it might not necessarily be 4 PM.
Yeah, 4 PM is the availability for all rooms on the ship. But...
so I guess they are right in saying that your room will be available from 4 PM, because by that point everyone's room will be. Yeah. It's just that yours might actually be earlier than that. It just depends on, I guess, the route that they take for doing inspections and how many people have previously been on, because it was on a time thing that they could change the time of.
Yeah.
So
I get the feeling as well that due to the early check-in window that concierge level have, they basically have no pat time. They can just turn up whenever they want. I get the feeling that they're going to be some of the first rooms available on the ship as well, just to help those people when they're coming on board. So it's always worth just going to your floor and having a check. It only takes a couple of minutes on the lift, so worth keeping an eye out for.
Definitely. So next one.
This is something Joe found out the hard way.
Depending on the speed that the ship is going, your room may develop strange rattling noises and strange squeaks that you can't figure out where they come from. I was fine sleeping on the ship the entire time, with one exception, and that was when we were docking back in Liverpool. So I think we were docking, I first woke up at about 3 AM, and I think that's when we were doing like the final bits of the Mersey, and then we were doing the official full docking maybe about 4 AM, but I was basically awake from 3 AM until about 4:45 when basically the engine sort of like switched to low, just keeping power going rather than powering the ship moving.
Yeah, so for the vast majority of the trip the ship was going at around about 8 knots, so it was quite a gentle hum. And then on the final day heading back to Liverpool, they switched on all the engines to try and get in as fast as possible, and the room was a bit of a rattly mess. There was something inside the wall that was rattling that we couldn't identify. It was
like the hangers inside of the wardrobe like got a little rattle and
get a little rattle on, yeah.
So I think it's just something to be aware of, that I'm not a particularly light sleeper.
No.
But
once you're awake, you're awake.
Once I'm awake, I'm awake. So there was just something that the extra power that the ship was using to do the docking, which is obviously it's going to be noisy docking because they're dropping anchors and putting
I think it was just heading back to the port that woke you up.
No, because when I got up I'd done sort of like lying there trying to go back to sleep, then I got up a bit and was faffing around basically in the room, and at 4 AM I looked out and we were docked because I could see Birkenhead, which was the opposite to when we'd gone out. We were on the Liverpool side, so we were like dock side, and coming back in we were the outside. So it confused me greatly because I was expecting to see Liverpool and I was like, that's Birkenhead, so we stopped, and then I was like, but no, we can't still be going down because we've gone further down than, if we go any further down we've gone past. And yeah, basically there's some strange squeaks that can come about and you just need to be aware that it can happen.
Bring some earplugs.
Bring earplugs if
because you never know.
Sleeper.
Yeah, if you're a light sleeper, I highly recommend some earplugs.
Or even if you're not a light sleeper, just bring earplugs just in case.
Yeah, you can pick up a pair of disposable ones for next to nothing. So it's worth it, just for your own sanity, that final night if you need to sleep.
That I was about to go all Liam Neeson on the wall last week because it was just driving me insane.
And by proxy, you were driving me insane because you're waking me up.
If I'm awake, everyone's awake.
Another thing to think and consider when checking in or planning is if you've not got any reason to get an early night, for example, you haven't got kids or you're okay with staying up late at night, consider taking the late dining slot, because on the final day you get to leave the ship later after breakfast. Like our breakfast was 8:15 in the morning, was it? Or
8:30.
8:30 in the morning, and we left the ship at around about 9:30, did we, or something like that?
No, it was a bit later than that. It was about 10:15.
Yeah, so you're not going to get thrown off the ship on the late dining, but it does give you a little bit of extra time and you don't have to scrabble out of bed first thing in the morning to try and get all packed up and out of your room. Yeah,
it was nice that we are people who get up early anyway, aren't we?
Yeah,
so we usually wake up about 5:30 in the morning. So we got up and just basically had a very lazy packing, and then we were like about an hour early for breakfast, so we just sat on the veranda and just basically enjoyed one last bit of the ship, made this list.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, I definitely prefer having the later dining and then getting the later breakfast slot.
But of course it's all down to your situation and what you can handle, essentially. We probably missed out on some events by being later dining, but not too many. Nothing that was a killer for the trip, essentially.
No, not at all. And the final one that we have is, if you are a DVC member, make sure you bring your blue card, because you get 10% discount in the shops if you spend over $50, which is very easy to do. So that essentially, the price that is on the tag in the shop, you need to add 20% VAT to, but because of your 10% discount, you then actually only need to add on 10% VAT. So it kind of takes it back to being American prices, because it's like 8% sales tax in Florida, so 10%. It softens the blow.
It's a nice little discount.
You also get discount on spa. But you have to book the spa before you leave port to get your DVC discount. You get discount on any of the items that you buy in the spa. So if you buy any of the like lotions and oils and things that they recommend afterwards, you get a discount on that. You get a discount on Shutters, I think it's called.
Yeah, Shutters.
Well, it's like it's not the Shutters portrait studio, it's just
the
where you can
photo packages.
The photo packages you get a discount on, but you have to go, rather than using the terminals that they have, you have to go to the actual person. So we didn't actually bother we bought 2 pictures and we didn't bother getting the discount because the queue to speak to people and to actually would have got the discount was so long. I was just like,
it's not worth the $4.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it.
No.
But yeah, just make sure you take your blue card on board and that you present it before they ask for your key to the kingdom card.
Yeah, so our first purchase, we gave them our key to the kingdom card, they scanned it, went through it, and then Joe went, oh, I've got a DVC discount as well, and the poor cast member was like, yeah, I need to cancel this transaction and do it. She took the receipt and just said, check your app, in half an hour, it'll be sorted. But it's just that extra little bit of inconvenience because it was just scan the card, everything went on. So before you give your key to the kingdom card, flash your DVC card in front of them as well.
Yeah, I did notice that they were asking if people had any discount cards. Like after that, they they asked before they clicked to put the transaction through. I get
the feeling that it happened a few times on the first day.
Yeah.
Because there was actually quite a lot of DVC members on board.
Yeah, our bus from the Albert Dock up to the terminal for the cruise terminal, I think 50% of our bus was full of DVC people.
Yeah, so it was something like that, wasn't it?
Very strange.
There was a couple sat behind us, there was a couple in front.
There was a couple to the side that had like 3.
Yeah, 3 lots of people, Yeah, it was quite a busy DVC cruise, interestingly.
Yeah. So they are the random hints and tips that came to us
on the final day.
Veranda.
Yeah.
And we thought we would put them out now rather than at the end of our vlogs, basically, because they're still fresh in our mind now. Yeah, hopefully so it's a lot easier.
Hopefully they'll be helpful to someone. If you've got any specific questions, feel free to drop it in the comments as well. We'll answer as best as we can.
Yeah.
I know there's still a lot of questions out there regarding the cruises and how to do X, Y, Z, but we are no experts, and there was people who had done the sort of 5th, 6th, 7th cruise on there, and you can tell they were very slick about how they did everything.
Very seasoned.
They knew exactly what to ask, where to ask, and how. So
yeah, if you've got any questions, feel free to leave them down below and we will try and answer
We'll try and help you as much as we can.
The vlog series officially starts this Thursday.
Ooh.
So I don't know what date that is. The 30th?
Something around that, anyway.
This Thursday, anyway. And it does start with our travel day to Liverpool, which is a bit of a cheat, as you will see on Thursday if you watch that.
We live very close to Liverpool.
But it starts nonetheless with travel day. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the vlogs when they eventually come up. If you aren't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. One thing I will say about the vlogs is they're not going to cover everything to everyone, because ultimately they are essentially vlogs of our holiday, so it's how we have done the cruise.
How us as childless millennials have done a cruise.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, if you're expecting like tours of kids clubs and all the amazing things for kids, they ain't for you. Because
there is plenty of other vlogs out there that cover the sort of aspects from a sort of child-friendly perspective. Us, it's very much adult driven and what we did on the cruise.
Yeah.
Likewise, we very much started enjoying ourselves a bit too much, and there may be a few things that are lacking, and a few big jumps in time because we go, oh yeah, we've got this camera thing that we need to use.
I'll be honest, disembarkation day, that's going to be a sit-down vlog like this, because
yeah, we didn't really film anything.
I filmed a bit.
Not much though.
No, because it got very busy. Anyway,
let's not spoil how poor they are for everyone.
they're not like, I've not edited them yet, so I'm could be wrong saying they're not poor.
Yeah.
They're just, it's hard to do like a vlog with hints and tips when it's your first cruise, but I would just put a disclaimer saying that they are essentially representations of our holiday.
Our holiday.
So
yeah.
if you're like, don't be disappointed that there's like, oh, you didn't do this. Well, that's because it was our holiday and we didn't do that. That's basically it.
That was a heck of a 2-minute disclaimer about how our vlogs are going to be.
They're fine. I mean, we've got plenty of other vlogs that people have watched.
Yeah, maybe. So thank you very much for watching this video. That's pretty much all we've got. If you're interested in seeing the vlog series, consider hitting the subscription button down below and giving this video a thumbs up will always help, or a thumbs down if you hate it, that's fine, we don't mind.
I don't think we've got thingy anymore, the ability to have like showing how many numbers. I think it just says like or dislike. So
well, if you like it, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it.
It makes it hard to do the votes that we used to do.
No, it's a shame. And in short,
do the YouTube stuff.
Do the YouTube stuff, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.